NFL Week 3 game breakdowns. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, thank you. I know there's a ton of options. It seems like everyone who likes football now does videos giving their opinion on the outcomes of games. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, stick around. Hopefully, I can earn that from you. Week 2 is in the books. Going into Sunday, Week 3, we currently have 9 undefeated teams that are looking to stay unbeaten, and there are 9 winless teams looking for their first win of the season. Keep in mind, only one team has made the playoffs after starting 0-3 since the year 2000. So these 0-2 teams this week have their backs against the wall, against history. These 0-2 teams have shown to be profitable over a large sample size in these Week 3 games. Last 20 seasons, 0-2 teams in their Week 3 games, 95, 78, and 5 against the spread. That's a 55% win rate. Since 2018, 0-2 teams, Week 3, 31, 21 against the spread, 60% win rate. Last 10 seasons, 0-2 teams playing Week 3, 41 and 42, 49% on the money line straight up, no point spread. You'd be up almost 2,000 blindly betting these teams, risking 100 per game. So these 0-2 teams are in a good spot. Everyone thinks they stink. Nobody wants to bet on them. They probably have some line value in most cases, and you'll get them in a max effort spot. What more could you ask for? Some more numbers from this season after Thursday night football game. The Jets beating the Patriots. Favorites on the money line are now 22 and 11 straight up, no point spread. But as we know, betting money line favorites isn't a profitable long-term strategy. Win percentage may look good, but you'd only be up $130 if you risked $100 on every money line favorite so far this season. And by season's end, we can almost guarantee it'll be in the negative. That's for the money line. Now let's look at against the spread numbers for this season. Underdogs 17, 15, and 1 against the spread. Road teams 18, 13, and 1 against the spread, with there being one neutral site game. As far as the total goes, the unders are 18 and 14 and 1. So it's been pretty even so far this season. There's no one-way trends that are lopsided or anything. One more thing before I get into the games. There's a lot of games lined 6 or 6.5 this week, and teasers are very popular bet types, but before you go and tease one of these 6 or 6.5 point favorites down to 0 in a teaser, make sure you aren't getting better payout odds just doing a money line parlay, because that's all it is basically. It's the same bet, especially if you're paying minus 120 or more on a 6.2 team teaser. You can almost always get better odds just doing a money line parlay with the same 2 teams. Just wanted to make sure we're all aware of that. All right, now let's get into the Week 3 game breakdowns. In this video, I'm going to break down a few games. If you want access to all the game breakdowns and all the bets I'm making, you can do so by joining the Betting Network Discord community. The invite link is in the description of this video. You can join for free, but you'll have limited access. I do charge $50 for 90 full days of pro membership, and that's 90 days from the day you join. Pro membership gives you full access to all the channels, tools, and features. Okay, now let's get into the games. First game up, let's look Chargers-Steelers. Now, this isn't a west to east coast travel spot for the Chargers. They stayed in Charlotte after their last week's game versus the Panthers. I don't know why every team just doesn't do this. The smart coaches do it, and it pays off. We've seen teams who have these back-to-back road games cross-country that stay on the coast have much more success than the teams that fly back and forth. Bill Belichick started this trend years ago. Not a lot to talk about in this game. The look-ahead line was Pittsburgh minus 2.5. It opened 2.5. Chargers got some action midweek. The line went down to Pitt minus 1, but then the injury status of Herbert, who is listed as questionable with an ankle, he went from probable early in the week to now questionable. You don't really see that too often. Usually it's questionable to probable. I guess his ankle is giving him some pain. But if the Chargers do what they've been doing, they just need him to hand the ball off like they've been doing every play this season. Has been like a run play. But then again, Chargers will be taking a pretty big step up in competition against the Steelers defense after facing the Panthers and Raiders defense. But for the Chargers defense, they're facing a bad offense for the third straight week. Don't have much of an opinion on this game. Based on my numbers, I do have the Chargers as 1 point favorites, but that's not adjusting for Herbert's injury. If this line gets to 3 and Herbert plays, I'll probably be priced in on the Chargers in this one if I can get +3. Steelers have been, really fortunate to avoid having a QB controversy. Justin Fields seems like it's their guy, but they're 2-0 despite only having scored one single offensive touchdown. This says a lot about the Steelers' defense, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't even really matter who's at QB. Steelers would probably be 2-0 if I was that quarterback. All right, let's go to the Northwest here. Dolphins, Seahawks. This opening line was just ridiculous. Seahawks were at -6.5 at one point. This is a clear example of how big the overreaction is on QB injuries. I mean, Seattle closed -6 or -5.5 week 1 versus Denver, who had a rookie Bo Nix making his NFL debut. The current number now of Seattle -4.5. I still like Miami, but I think at 4.5 this is right. At 6.5, this would be a max whale play on Miami for me. Seattle's 2-0, but they should be playing Denver week 1 and the Patriots week 2. Teams not expected to be winning teams. Miami does come into this game with extra time to prepare, which helps, them figure out the QB situation. Is Skylar Thompson a downgrade to Tua? Yeah, but Skylar Thompson isn't some rookie. He's 27 years old, been in the league for a long time, and he's not just like a default backup quarterback. He won the QB2 job over Mike White. And there's a couple things to like about Skylar Thompson, too. One being there's not a whole lot of recent film on him for defenses to study and analyze, but more importantly, we have a classic injured player theory here. And if you're unfamiliar with this, it's in every sport. When a key player on a team is ruled out and not playing, what happens is the sportsbooks overreact, adjusting the point spread because they know everyone's going to be betting against a team with the key player being ruled out. We just saw this last week with the Packers. Not only is there value betting on the team with the injured player, but it's also a situation where all of the teammates on that team play more inspired and motivated. They pick up the slack for the key player being out, and the opposing team might even let down a little, thinking they have an easier game against a team who's missing an important player. You combine all that, and you have the injured player theory. It happens all the time in the NBA. Star player gets ruled out, and it doesn't matter. That team ends up rolling. Keep an eye on these situations this year, and you'll be surprised how many times the team who's without the key player performs above expectation. And keep in mind, it's only the first game after the player is ruled out. You don't just keep betting on the team that's without a key player. Seattle isn't a team I want to bet on as like a medium favorite. They aren't built to win by margin, and they're already banged up. I mean, running back Kenneth Walker, George Fant, Jerome Baker, the list goes on. And now they're coming off an overtime game that was a very physical game where they traveled east and then back west across country. And I think Seattle has an inflated home field advantage. I've realized this for a while, and I've talked about it in the Discord in years past, but because of how good Seattle used to be at home, not sure if they still call their fans the 12th man anymore or not, but they used to be really good at home for a while. From the year 2004 to 2017, Seahawks dominated at home 40-4 against the spread, 60% win rate, but things change, and not exactly sure why. But I think they're still getting a home field advantage bump. But they don't deserve it. The last 7 years at home, just 26-31-1 against the spread, 45% win rate. Not exactly what I'd call a home field advantage. And they haven't had a winning home record against the spread since the COVID season, I believe. And I toss out all the results from that season. Since 2017, Seattle in the role of home favorites, just 17-26-1 against the spread. Give me Miami here. Haven't bet them yet, but that's who I like. I am a little concerned with left tackle Teron Armstead and his injury. McDaniel said they hope to have him back sooner than later. Looking forward to that DK Metcalf versus Jalen Ramsey matchup, though. That one should be a doozy. Now remember, if you want access to all the game previews, they're available For pro members of the Discord, I'm only doing a couple videos here on YouTube, but you can get them all inside the Discord. Let's go Lions Cardinals here. Lions at Cardinals, been Arizona money all week. Lions minus 4.5 on the look ahead. Cardinals go out and blow out an injury riddled Rams team, and the sportsbooks reopen the line. Detroit minus 3. Now we have a split line. Some sportsbooks have 3, some have 2.5. Plus, what helped this line move is the common opponent. Arizona throttled the Rams. Lions went to OT and barely won in a close game, so bettors will look at that and think, wow, Arizona should win. Also, the Arizona loss to the Buffalo Bills week 1 looks a lot better now with how Buffalo has looked. I bet over 51 here. It's a big number, but I'm not scared off of betting over on big numbers. I think both offenses have success. The Lions' defense this season is playing the second highest rate of cover 1. 44% cover 1. That's tied with the Broncos for second highest rate. Kyler Murray happens to be really good facing cover 1. Since the start of the 2023 season, I have Kyler Murray as the 7th best quarterback from both EPA and success rate when facing a blitz. Murray has a tendency to take off and run when facing the blitz, which isn't a terrible thing. Blitzers leave areas of the field vacant and can lead to big chunk yards in both the passing and run game. I really like Kyler Murray over rushing yards. Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn continues to struggle to find ways to defend mobile quarterbacks. Lions have allowed a ton of yards past couple of seasons to QB runs. Now, on the surface, this looks like a really big mismatch for in the trenches that favor the Lions on both sides of the ball. The Lions' offensive line should dominate this game, and you guys know I'm a really big trenches guy. I think the teams that win the battle in the trenches also win and cover the game most of the time. But, the Cardinals are a really tough team to put a value on because Kyler Murray is a mystery to me. He's now 2 years removed from his injury, and I don't really know what to expect from him, but he has a legit receiving group now, whole new coaching staff, new offensive coordinator. How do you accurately price a situation like this? I guess you just guess, right? All right, going to stop here. I'll be back with the primetime games. Hopefully you guys found this video informative, helpful, and it will help you cash some winners.